walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. And as you can see in the title, we're talking United again. As I said, this club it just keeps on giving. It just keeps on giving in terms of news. This is big. There's lots coming out. Obviously, we had the whole Martial crap with Ragnick saying that he wasn't, he didn't want to travel. And then you had Martial come out and say, I've never refused to play for this club. So we're going to talk a bit about that because there's been a bit of peace talks, shall we even say that? But this is regarding the permanent manager. So obviously we know that Ralph is there as an interim. The chances of him getting that full time is so slim. It's actually unreal. For me, they are gonna replace him. I think that's clear. I think he should move upstairs. I think he'll be better off upstairs, suited for the upstairs role, I think, than trying it in the Premier League. He's not adjusting to it too well. He keeps making a lot of tactical blunders, as we've seen. But before we get started, hit the like button and the subscribe button. Make sure you turn on the bell button with notifications on so you don't miss when we next go live, or you don't miss a video at all. We've got lots of content. We had 2 videos already today. We've discussed Ryan Lowe and his comments to Green Army, and we've also discussed Rafa and who should be the next Everton manager. So lots of content coming out for you on a daily basis. And we've still got another show later on tonight, which is the weekly review show. Got a couple of great guests on for you for that one as well. But we'll get into it. Martial says we are getting a new manager already. Don't even like Ragnick anyway. Well, Ragnick was always that interim approach, wasn't he? He was always interim manager, and there was always going to be a possibility you were going to look for a new manager after the season. It's turned out that you probably are going to look for a new manager at the end of the season. But let's start with Anthony Martial, because I think that bit sort of comes into this whole manager merry-go-round sort of stuff that we're currently seeing at United, because you started the season obviously with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Things didn't quite go to plan. Started the season off actually fairly well. Win against Leeds, draw with Southampton, and a cheeky win against Wolves. Then Ronaldo comes back, things go downhill quite quickly. Maybe that is Ronaldo's fault, maybe it's Ole's fault, maybe it's whoever's fault. And then obviously Ole gets sacked after some quite, dodgy performances and results. Obviously the 5-0 to Liverpool, the 2-0 to Man City, which should have been a lot more, 4-2 against Leicester, and of course the 4-1 thrashing from Watford. So Ole lost his job. Then you hired Ragnick as an interim manager, which is always a dangerous approach. I mean, with Ole at work, because he was a former player, boosted morale, all of this. Ragnick wasn't going to do that. So it was a major issue, and now you get a new permanent manager, which makes more sense. Dylan says DT is a prick. Pretty sums up pretty well, doesn't it? I mean, we've all seen it. We've all seen what's been said, what's come out, and all of that. And yeah, prick is pretty much probably the best way to describe it. Look, we're not going to comment on it really, but yeah, anyone who can do that to anyone, let alone a woman, is absolutely vile and disgusting and has no place in society, let alone, you know, on big platforms. So yeah, it's one of them. Mustafa says, I'm officially Ragnick out. He lied about Pogba's injury. What did he say about Pogba's injury? I swear he said that he was out for, and to be fair, he said he'd be back end of January, taking 5 weeks. So yeah, come back a bit early. Pogba should have been back in December. Everyone, I mean, Ollie was still talking about Pogba being back in December. What was the problem? Like, I know he had a bit of an issue, but he's been out for a very long time. Who is Paul Pogba? I don't even know what he looks like anymore. I think he may have shaved his head. So that's how long we haven't seen Paul. But Mustafa Getford, out of your name. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. He said he won't be back until February the 15th, but he's back today. Didn't he say, yeah, but he said February 15th for playing. He still needs to get match fit, doesn't he? He's just taken part in team training. I don't know. But Ragnick is open to the idea of rebuilding his relationship with Anthony Martial, because the striker could yet remain at the club during the January transfer window. Privately, Ragnick has insisted he did not say Anthony Martial refused to travel, only that he did not feel he could play, and the situation is a case of crossed wires rather than an irreparable rift between the pair. That's not what he said. He said he refused to travel. That's the quote still going out. You can backtrack it all you like. You spoke it in English, so it's one of them. Ralph has been advised to bring Anthony Martial back into the fold, with Man U struggling to offload the out of favour striker. Ragnick and Martial have since met to discuss the situation after Manchester United sources indicated Ragnick was encouraged to mend his relationship with the French forward. This one is a very messy situation. You've obviously got two different stories. One that's Ralph said, one of Martial's Instagram post. This is a dangerous situation for Ralph, a very dangerous situation, because the situation is he's got to try and keep Martial happy whilst also getting results. And you've already pissed him off a couple of times now. Now, he wants to leave United. You need to find a way of getting him gone. Not because I don't rate Martial, not for whatever reason. I don't think I think half the shit that gets spoken about in terms of Anthony Martial is probably garbage. But I do think he needs a go. Look, I think he'll be happier elsewhere. I also think he'll play more elsewhere, and you'll get a transfer fee for him if you can find a suitable loan club. Now, that being the case, you've got to try and find that, and we'll go into reasons why no one can find a club for him at the moment because of the demands that Manchester United have set out. Mustafa says, Dylan, I want him out of my club. Not your club. Get Mustafa out of my club. Martial has to play. Fight me, Dylan. Fight me. This is going to get quite brutal in the chat, I feel. But why is Martial still, why is there still a stumbling block? Why hasn't he been able to go out on loan yet? Well, United are apparently happy to let him leave this month, but have looked to price him out of a move to Sevilla and most clubs. Because once I explain exactly the demands that Manchester United have set out, it's all from the Mirror as well, by the way. You had a bit, the first bits were from Rob Dawson, ESPN, so it's all from different outlets. But the Mirror, what United want is ridiculous. No one's ever going to pay that. Nobody's going to pay the loan fee. Some might stupidly enough pay the wages, but you're going to have to give or take. You're going to have to compromise. But the demands are quite simple. United are requesting that all of Martial's wages be paid in full, which is 200k a week, as well as a loan fee in the region of £7 million. You want someone to pay a loan fee of £7 million for half a year? No one's doing that. No one, apart from Newcastle, are doing that. And Anthony Martial has zero interest in joining Newcastle United. He has zero interest in Tottenham. He wants to go to Sevilla. You have to compromise. You're going to have to find a way. as he may not want to play for United. He may be professional, but he may not want to be there. Big up to Jay, who says, "Hey people, hope you're all having a fantastic Monday." I am. It's all been good so far. Yo, just work, says Ravi. Love to see you. Thank you for watching, Ravi. And 200k a week is a lot. Well, that's actually what United stupidly put him on. You know, regardless of if he deserves 200k a week. It's not showing to be good business, is it? But, so, how do you deal with this? How does this get dealt with? Well, simply put, you've got to find someone for Anthony Martial. You have to find a club that he wants to be at and that can afford him. You're going to have to pay some of these wages. Right, you're going to have to. There's no way Sylvia can afford 200k a week, let alone 7 million for a loan fee. For a loan fee of £7 million, nobody's paying all of that. That's a ridiculous amount of money. Not even, I don't even think Chelsea would ever demand that for anyone. So that is a ridiculous amount, but you're going to have to find somewhere because you've got an unhappy player. You've got a very unhappy player in an already fractured dressing room. Do you want to make this worse? Dean Henderson also needs to leave. Dean Henderson, Martial both need to leave. Not because I dislike them, not because I don't think they're good enough, but because they're unhappy. And then it takes one rotten apple to upset the cart. One. You've got two at best. Well, Lingard and Pogba who's running down their contracts. Cavani's out in the summer, so that's 3 gone already. Martial looks like he'll probably go. Henderson will probably go. That's 5. Bailly wants to leave. That's 6 already. The overhaul of this squad is going to be massive, let alone adding players like Phil Jones who wants to go. That's 7. Cristiano Ronaldo, if you don't get top 4, is 8. I mean, someone explained to me where all of you're going to have one heck of a summer. And we'll talk about that because it's going to be a huge one for whoever takes charge. Imagine if we earned that money, crazy amount. I know. What would I do with 200k a week? Save a lot of it, I suppose. Keep Martial for fuck's sake, says Mustafa. Martial needs to go. He clearly doesn't want to stay. And he said that. He has openly said, I want to leave. Let him go. Let him go. He has to be allowed to go, for sure. Yes, I don't think United suits his style of play. It may do, but I don't know what is Rangnick going to do now, because he started off at his time as 4-2-2-2. That didn't work. Went to a 4-4-2. That didn't work. He's gone to a 4-3-3. That seems to work the best. But guess who doesn't fit that system? Ronaldo. So, I mean, really, the player you need up top is someone who can link play. Now, whatever people say about Bobby Firmino, he suits that role for Liverpool so good. Right? He's not an outright number 9, but he's good because he links play really well. And that helps Mane and Salah, Jota when he's playing. United, for me, are going to have to go down a similar route. I think because of the wide players you've got, like Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford, even Martial could play out wide as an inside forward. Because you've got an abundance of attacking players who can do that role, you need to play with someone who can connect play in a sophisticated way. Anthony Martial can do that. So Anthony Martial does fit this system quite well. But then are you dropping Ronaldo to the bench? I would. I personally would. To get the best out of the team, you have to drop Ronaldo, for me. You just do. Because unless you're going to get your wing-backs bombing up forward, putting in about 9 billion crosses per game, Ronaldo doesn't work because you haven't got normal wingers. Because you haven't got normal wingers, like, you did in the past, Ronaldo is ineffective in this system because you can't get the ball to him. And your midfield has already proven they can't do it. Unless you were to play Matic, Donny, Bruno. But hey, just a YouTuber. Big up, Niall. How you doing, bro? Hope you've had a good day. I've had a wonderful day, Max. Wonderful day. United are in a bit of a pickle. When are they not? When are they not? Hi mate, just tuned in live at 6 p.m. though, so can't stay the whole time. Absolutely, make sure you check out the Football Obsession 6 p.m. I'll be watching a brilliant interview with Phil Brown being done, where I believe they're probably going to talk about Donny, in the thumbnail. Knowing who's in the thumbnail, I think Donny might get brought up. It's only an educated guess. Look at picture. Donny? Maybe Donny getting spoken about? Would be interesting to see other people's opinions of Donny. I like him. Has he been given a fair crack of the whip? No, he hasn't. They need to play him in a few games and then see how he fits in. Well, that's wonderful, Ravi. I do agree. Are you telling Ronaldo he's on the bench? I can't imagine he'll take it too well. No, I mean, the last couple of games has been because he's injured. Very interesting to see if he comes back in on Wednesday and who gets dropped for him. Because Cavani was quite shit against Villa. Now, I think Cavani's allowed an off day, but not great. But talking of all that, we've talked about who could potentially go. I mean, with Martial, he does need to go. As a sub long. Yeah, maybe. But the main bulk of this we're going to talk about is managers. My favourite topic. Love talking about managers and a merry-go-round. And which clown are they going to bring to the circus of United? Well, there's many options. You've got Gareth Southgate, which is my favourite to take the United job on a personal level. I would like to see Gareth Southgate leave England and join United. He would be the perfect clown for the circus. Perfect for you guys. Absolutely perfect. So you've got Southgate. You've got obviously the two regulars of Ten Hag and Pochettino, Brendan Rodgers. You got Potter. You got all sorts. So who are they going to go for? Well, there's lots about this, and we're going to talk about. We're talking about it all. We're going to talk about what Joel Glazer's had to say, in terms of how he looks for a manager. We're going to talk about some of the sources that the club are saying that they may look to get a manager in before the summer, which makes a lot of sense as we always talk about the upheaval and everything going on at the club and everything that manager is going to have to deal with and get ready for the new season. And we're obviously going to talk about who is in line to take what job, because obviously there's a few managers that have been spoken about, and then we're going to end it on what Potter has had to say. Obviously, Potter is Brighton manager, but other teams are looking at him. And I think the reason why he'll probably stay at Brighton for the rest of the season is if by some miracle he gets the United job, then he won't want to take an Everton right now. He would like to see what happens in the summer. But we'll talk about all of that. We will. Avi says, as a sub. Yeah, I think he needs more minutes, but when he's played, not being great. I sort of disagree with you. This season, when he played, I actually didn't think he was that bad. He played against Everton, got a goal, got the point against Everton. Would have been 3, but So I actually think Martial, there's still a player in there. There is still a player. And with how bad Rashford's been, having someone like Martial around who could do that role on the left might not be the worst idea in the world. Sancho hardly pulling up trees. Having someone like Martial could be quite beneficial, especially, as I say, with what's happened with Rashford's form this year. Could certainly do with a bit of a rest, as we alluded to in the United show. Also check that out if you have not done so already. Ravi says, does Ralph know his best 11? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He knows his best goalkeeper. He's preferred Dalot over Wan-Bissaka. He prefers Varane over all of them. I think that second centre-back, though, is up for a debate. I think he doesn't fully know who he wants it. I think Maguire automatically goes there because he's captain, but definitely think he may prefer a different player, maybe a Lindelof, maybe a Bailly, maybe a Phil Jones, dare I even say. Left back, I think he prefers. Left back's also a bit unsure. He's done it quite evenly with Shaw and Tellez, so I'm not sure who he prefers in there. His midfield, he does prefer McTominay in there. He's favoured McTominay. Fred's been in and out. Matic has been in and out. Bruno he favours in the midfield as well, or up front. I think he's favouring Greenwood on the right, and he's favoured Rashford up until, Rashford and Greenwood and Sancho, he's sort of rotated all of them. He likes Ilanga, but I don't think Ilanga's ready for first team football. And up front, he's favoured Cavani and Ronaldo. If he's playing with the 4-3-3, I think he'll favour Ronaldo over Cavani. But then who do you put alongside Ronaldo in the wide forwards? Because they are wide forwards. They're not wingers. They're wide forwards. Greenwood and probably Rashford or Sancho would be the designated one, with a midfield three of McTominay and Bruno, and then maybe a Fred or a Matic. But I don't think he does know. I think he knows some. So goalkeeper, right back, one centre back, two midfielders, striker. He knows 6. I think he knows 6 of his best 11 of his, not of Ollie's, not of Jose's or Michael Carrick's. His best 11. I think he knows 6, maybe 7, with how many games Greenwood has played on the right hand side. You could actually argue he favours Greenwood on the right, so 7. Yeah, 7. I think he knows 7. I think there's still 4 positions that he's not too sure on. I think that couples in with bad performances as well. But I want to talk a little bit more about this. So let's talk about the upheaval that could be going on at United. But before I do that, well, actually, it's sort of similar with this. United could sign more than one midfielder this summer with another overhaul in the offing, and the next manager expected to be backed in the window as a club bid to get back on track. So, as we've already gone, let's go through who's leaving. Cavani, Pogba, Lingard at this current stage. Neither look to be signing any contracts. Martial. Donny will depend on the manager. Actually, Donny, I think there's the reason I'm not going to say Donny is because I think both managers that United want in terms of Pochettino and Ten Hag both like Donny. I think that's why Rangnick's so keen to keep him, because I know that Pochettino wanted Donny at Spurs. I know Eric Ten Hag likes Donny van der Beek. So I think Donny is being told, look, I can't fit you in. I know you've been screwed around, but the next manager will like you because the next manager is going to be Pochettino or Ten Hag. They both like you. And that's why I think Donny's probably not happy to stay, but I think he's willing just to see what happens. Phil Jones wants to go. He wants to get first team football. Who else wants to go? Henderson. So that's 6. Who else wants to go? Bailly. 7. On that, 7. If you don't get top 4, Ronaldo, 8. That's a lot. That's a lot of midfield. Mata, 10. There you go. Mata and Matic both will probably go. 10. 10. That's half your squad. That's not even including, a Shaw or Tellers or AWB or Dallo. Now, of course, you've got some players coming back. You've got Garner coming back in the summer. You've got Brandon Williams coming back in the summer. You would have had Ahmad back in the summer. It looks like he's going out on loan this January. Twanzebe will be back, although, yes, he'll be back with 1 year left on his contract. So there are players coming back. So you've got 4 coming back, 10 going. So you're going to need to get reinforcements. If you get a central midfielder this summer, you'll probably go get yourself another one in the summer, whether that be a Hidara, whose release clause is open in the summer, or whether that be a Declan Rice, a Frankie de Jong, an Ndidi, a Bissouma, whoever it may be. I think you'll get them in the summer. So if anything, you'll get a Zakaria now, and then maybe a de Jong, a Declan Rice, a Hidara, Bissouma type player in the summer. So you'll get them too, which will probably be in replacement of Pogba and that. I fully expect you to go 4-3-3, so you'll probably have Zakaria playing back up to whoever comes in, and that sort of balances out. You'd assume with Fred, McTominay, let's just say Zakaria playing back up to, let's just assume you go 4-3-3 and play, I don't know, Hidara, Bruno, Donny, or a De Jong, Donny, Bruno midfield, which could be quite saucy. So I fully expect a bit more movement in midfield next season. I fully expect probably McTominay and Fred to drop to squad players, which is probably where they're at, although Fred lower than McTominay for me. McTominay is much higher than Fred in terms of squad hierarchy, not because he's come through youth, just because he's better. Then up top you'll have, so let's assume you don't get Champions League. Up top you have Greenwood, Martial. But Martial wants to go, so you have Greenwood. You'll need to go get another striker, so fully expect another striker to come in the summer to play, whether play backup, be level with Mason or below Mason in terms of the hierarchy. So I fully expect that to happen. Out on the right, you'll have Ahmad and Jadon. I think that's enough. On the left, Rashford, you'll need to get another one on the left. You know, Pogba going, Lingard going, Martial going. I think you'll lack on the left. So I think another left winger will probably have to come in. It'll be interesting to see what type of winger he goes for. I think your wing backs are fine unless one was to go. I think if AWB was to go, I think Brandon Williams may slot in to play back up to Dalot. But he may still want to look at a Tariq Lamptey. I know his name's been mentioned. Max Aarons, you know, these types of players that have been mentioned might be looked at. So Dalot might not be safe. Dalot may play backup. Brandon Williams may leave, or Dalot may leave, and AWB may leave. You get a brand new right back over on the right. Think on the left, Tellez Shaw. I think that will probably stay. In the middle of your defence, you'll have Varane. You'll have Maguire, Lindelof. If we assume Bailly and Phil Jones leaves, you'll have to get, or you'll have Twanzebe. So you might be okay for centre backs, although you may want to sell Maguire. So you see what I mean? There's a lot of overhaul needed. And that's just assuming you don't get Champions League. If you get Champions League, Ronaldo's here for one more season. Therefore, your priority of a striker is no longer needed. That means you'll have priority of midfield, left winger, I would assume, and maybe a right back. They're the three positions. If you don't, I can see the right back probably being the least priority, and having a left winger, a striker, and a midfielder being the priorities. So you see what I mean? Big overhaul needed, and you'll lose a lot more players than you bring in, but you've already got a very bloated squad anyway. So lots of players even isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you are going to need to make sure you've got replacements and you've got the two for every position, plus a bit more depth as well. So that's where the likes of maybe Elanga fits in, Hannibal fits in, Garner fits in. These players who aren't maybe going to play every game, but will offer you valuable backup, or maybe that's what Fred does. So it's a lot. There's a lot going on in terms of that transfer window. This summer is huge. Now, don't forget, all of that's going to happen when you've only got a month. You've only got 1 month for pre-season this year. So it's going to be very difficult because you've got 1 month to get all of these changes, lots of outs, a couple of ins, rebed in the players, get the new tactics board out, put the tactics on the pitch for the players, get them working how you want before the season starts. And don't forget, the season is going to be very short in terms of the first half of the season, which is up until the middle of November. Then you've got the World Cup in November, December, before you come back for Boxing Day football, the 28th. And then you've got from the 28th up until May. I don't know if they've still got some international breaks in there as well. If they have, that's a bit of a fuck up. But, you know, you're going to have that break, which means it's going to be more condensed. The game's going to be in a condensed period of time, and there's not much of a turnover, like 6 weeks. Most teams like a good 5-6 week pre-season, you're getting a month. So it's again another difficult summer. That with your new manager is absolute chaos. It's chaos, no matter who you get. You could go get Fergie back, which would be a terrible idea. Don't take that as an idea. And if you were to do that, losing all of those players and the players bringing in, coupled with the brand new manager coming in, trying to implement his tactics, whilst also giving the okay of what players he wants and his input, it is mega rushed. And don't forget, if you don't sign your manager until a bit into the summer, it gives you less time to sit with the manager and go, look, what do you want in terms of players? We need to know so we can go and do our summer sort of process, because Ollie didn't do it until after Europa League final. But I think everyone knew that a Varane and a Sancho, well, no one knew about Varane, but a centre-back and Sancho were very needed. Everyone assumed you'd go for a DM, but you went for Ronaldo instead. So that they were doing this, but I think everyone knew roughly the plan that United were going through in the summer. This year is a bit more different. We all know that a central midfielder, a big proper central midfielder, should be coming in this summer, because that's been lacking for 2 years now. If you don't get top four, striker will probably be coming in, and I would assume a left winger will probably come in, unless Ten Hag or Pochettino are happy with Elanga playing back up to Rashford, or whatever's going on there, and however they want to set up. Because I think both Ten Hag and Pochettino play quite similar formations in terms of 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. So that's how those two would set up. So therefore, would Elanga play back up to Rashford? We're not sure. I'm not sure. He may do, or they may want to get him out on loan. That's the sort of conversations that the new manager will have to have with their squad, because don't forget, he's also going to have to look at what players he wants to keep, because he may say, I really like Martial. Can I talk to him? The new manager might go, Anthony, I really love you. I think you've got a lot of real ability about you. You really fit into what I want. I need and want you to stay. Anthony might go, I feel loved. I'll stay. And that's when, it's crucial for the new manager to make these decisions, not Ralph. Because what Ralph may not like or may not want may be what a new manager does want, which is why he's probably not wanting a mass exodus in January. Also, on a personal note, because he knows with COVID he needs to try and get through the season, and there's always an outbreak possible. So he's going to want as a bloated squad as possible, with FA Cup, Champions League and Premier League all being played, and the rearranged fixtures. So there's so much going on at United. It is a mindfuck. It's a mindfuck about what could happen. There's so much. So this summer's really important, but it's really important to have your manager in place ASAP. Now, if you can get that manager confirmed before the summer, that is huge. He may not take out into the dugout at the end of the season, but he'll certainly be able to have the conversations of, let's say, I want to keep Martial. Let's use Martial as a prime example. He may want to keep Martial and say, I like him on the left, really want to put him on the left. I want to convince him. That's the conversation this manager will need to have with the board and with Ralph and with, John Myrtle and Darren Fletcher, and come up with the action plan of what he wants. He may say, I've no interest in keeping Ronaldo. He'll probably be told, do one, you're keeping him. Or they may go, actually, yeah, it's fine, we can look to offload him. He may also say, actually, I have no interest in Bruno. Highly doubtful, but He may say Maguire needs to go, because I'm not going to play Maguire. So you see what I mean? The new manager needs to have pure autonomy of what goes on, and he needs to be able to have these meetings, and you need to know who you're hiring. So big summer ahead, and with everything going on is much needed. And there's another reason why it needs to be done now, and in terms of or not now, but before the summer, because it prevents one thing that I'll mention in a moment. Ravi says, I disagree with some fans saying Greenwood is selfish lots of the time when he plays. I think it's bullshit. I think one player who's improved most under Ralph Rangnick has been Mason Greenwood. You can see that he's very much been coached a lot better. He switches play a lot better than he did under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think he's being given that maybe a license to do that, but he's really improving. But he's also a striker. Most strikers I know are selfish. Ronaldo, Kane, Salah, wide forward, obviously, Mane. They're all selfish. Do Liverpool fans go, fuck me, I wish Salah was less selfish? No, they don't. They go, Salah knows how to score goals. We trust Salah. So United fans are just, some of them are just bullshit. And DC's an idiot. Coutinho is trash, just like Martial. Nice to see you fighting. Nice to see the fighting. But there is more. Now, a source close... actually, no, that's not the one. United could appoint a next permanent manager before the end of the season. There have been developments in United's process to settle on the next manager, and the club could secure agreement before the summer transfer window opens on July 1st, which will mean that, the manager probably gets announced June, maybe end of May, which could be really beneficial. Don't forget your manager also will start pre-season around July as well. So that also bear that in mind. But obviously he'll need to give his input for the summer transfer window as well. What players, as I've just said, will go, what will come in, may need to depend on what manager you get. Pochettino may want someone different to what Ten Hag will want, or Gareth Southgate. Greenwood is greedy. Everyone is within the team. However, no matter how much you like Greenwood, it's clear he's selfish. That's why he's a number 9, not an 11. And Dylan, I know. I've been saying this for ages. But he got Ronaldo there, so he has to play as an 11 or a 7 as a winger. He's not a winger. He's a wide forward. He plays a Salah role. That's the way he does it. Ronaldo just doesn't understand what a Salah role is because Ronaldo's an idiot. A source says Manchester United, a source familiar with the process to appoint a new manager, says Man U believe the sooner the better, with the club mindful of Tottenham's farcical efforts to replace Jose Mourinho last summer. It was bad. It was terrible last summer for Spurs. They had almost every manager. They spoke with almost everyone, barring pretty much Ollie, Klopp, Pep, and Tuchel. They spoke with all of them. Even tried going back in for Pochettino. So last season was an absolute farce for United, for Spurs. United don't want to follow the same approach. But Ronaldo is a go, sit down. Well, no. I will be critical, Dylan. I know you lot seem to, most people on this channel seem to think that you mustn't ever criticize Ronaldo or he's going to come and slap you in the face. But Cristiano Ronaldo, over the last 5-6 games, has been horseshit. Absolute shit. So yes, I will call him out. And yes, I will say that probably Greenwood should be playing up front ahead of Ronaldo. Deal with it. Ronaldo is not the same player. He's also a wanker. So deal with it. United, so we've done that one, obviously the fast score approach. Ragnick is set to be involved in that process that's being headed up by John Myrtle. It's all according to Samuel Luckhurst from Manchester Evening News. Now we can talk about some of the types of manager, but before I do say that, multiple sources have confirmed, how dare you criticize Ronaldo? He scored a goal for us in 2009. That's wonderful. Wonderful. What's he doing in current day? Nothing. Greenwood over Ronaldo now. Come on. I'm being serious. Why not? Greenwood is your future. Ronaldo is your past. If you want to continue the whole process of stunting someone's development to fit a 37-year-old into your team, be my guest. Be my guest. 100%. Do enjoy the fail. Multiple sources. I'm not taking the piss at all, Dylan. I'm being 100% honest here. Multiple sources have confirmed incoming Chief Executive Richard Arnold will not be heavily involved in football matters, but he would have to request sign-off of any managerial appointment from co-chairman Joel Glazer. That's normal. Whilst it was similar with Ragnick, and how Ragnick came in. For me, they John Myrtle, Fletcher sort of headed up the process of getting Ragnick in as interim, then signed off by Joel Glazer. That is completely normal. Completely normal. I think even Ed Woodward might have been involved, but Ed quite likes Ralph. God knows why. Ralph likes football, Ed does not. But that's on that really. So, co-chairman will sign off for that. That's completely normal. You're not going to hire a manager without your chairman being happy about it. So that is true. Maybe we are similar to the person out of Jay Gatsby from The Great Gatsby. We cannot relive the past, indeed, which is why I think the sooner you move Greenwood up front and start focusing on the future, very much like Arsenal have, Saka, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, they're looking at the future. they're not re-signing Thierry Henry, are they? They're looking to the future. Which is why Arsenal are currently performing better than United, because they're looking to the future. United looking in the past. Look at what we won. You are the Liverpool of the 2000s. There's your trophy. Big up to Kenny as well in the chat. Now, some comments from them about what manager it could be, and I'll just have a bit of my coffee because again now. Greenwood is generation, and with the Langer, who is a much more intelligent winger than Rashford, can succeed. Rashford is a good player. Just suits different managers, doesn't he? He doesn't quite suit the Ralph manager, but he may suit a Ten Hag or a Poch. Talking of Poch is still eager to manage United and was prepared to move mid-season. United explored the possibility of releasing Pochettino from his PSG contract. A source familiar with the discussions in November said PSG played hardball. Obviously unsurprising. PSG are looking to win the Champions League, having to try and get a new manager in, whilst trying to achieve that is going to be very difficult. So they, of course, wanted to play hardball, weren't really keen on letting him go. So it was a very difficult situation for them. So it makes no surprise that was the case. Would they be more likely to accept that for the summer in releasing sort of Poch from PSG's contract? PSG probably would be a bit more accepting. That gives them a bit more time. Maybe as Zidane is available at that time, or Poch doesn't win the Champions League and therefore maybe get even, dare I say, even sacked. So be sure to look to get Poch on high at Spurs is what I would have done. Erik ten Hag is admired at United for ending Ajax's 5-year championship drought and taking them to within seconds to the Champions League final. United and Ajax had a positive relationship following the transfer of Donny van der Beek 18 months ago. I bet you do not. Bet you do not anymore. You know, that positive relationship might be because Van der Sar still likes the fans. But in terms of the relationship, how you've treated Donny, I can't imagine that being positive. You've treated Donny out absolutely abhorrently. So I can't imagine there's a positive relationship. I can imagine they'll be willing to do business because I think Ajax will be looking Ten Hag leaving sort of inevitable. So I really can't see a positive relationship. I can see business being done. Therefore, I can see that being done. So I agree to a degree that Ajax could let... Well, I think Ten Hag could leave Ajax in the summer. Could go to Ajax. Could go to United. Don't forget City might also look for managers. So it's more of them, isn't it? The excuses people make for Rashford is ridiculous. I give everyone a fair crack of the whip, Mustafa. I don't know about you. I give everyone a fair crack of the whip. Rashford played under injury last season. That's fine. Scored lots of goals. That's fine. This season, it hasn't really worked out for him. But I'm willing to give him more time. I'm willing to give every player more chances. Maybe under a new manager, you might find Rashford's best form again. So every player needs to be given time. The players are sort of deserving of it. Maguire's had enough. Fred's had enough. Pogba's had enough. These players have had enough time. I don't think Rashford's ever had a form this bad, so a bit of time, isn't it? Rashford isn't some sort of luxury item. He's a footballer. Ralston shouldn't regress a footballer this much. No, I agree. I do agree. But having someone who's playing Rashford as a 10, when Rashford's never been a 10, ridiculous. Playing him on the right when he's been played on the left for predominantly most of his career, also stupid. So there are sort of reasons. Now, of course, his performances have been shocking. And I've said he needs time away from United. He needs a holiday, I think. I think needs some time to get his head straight. Come back, see what he can do. But I think you will have to give Rashford at least another season before you completely write him off, don't you? And Mustafa says, please just get Ten Hag. Gareth Southgate is available. Gareth Southgate is Let's Talk Premier League's chosen one. Kenny, I spoke to Kenny earlier, and Kenny is absolutely desperate for Gareth Southgate. So Some United fans really want Southgate, Kenny being one of them. So, look, if Southgate joins United, Kenny will be happy, and United have got an outstanding manager. And if John Glazer is watching this, get Southgate. Now, instead of bantering you, let's just go through some of the processes that the Glazers use in terms of getting a new manager. In American football, ideally, you don't want so much turnover, that we recognise and we can pinpoint one thing or the other. I would say the answer is no. We can't pinpoint one thing. So, obviously, ultimately, he doesn't want high turnover. Ultimately, it's results on the field, and results on the field were unfortunate. It's what's led us to where we are. Perhaps the most intriguing details in Stroud's chat is the Glazers had used a consulting firm to identify coaches in the past. Rangnick, the interim manager, will start a 2-year consultancy role on July 1st and is believed to be advising on the next permanent appointment as manager. That's something we look back at what we've done in the past with different types of coaches we brought in. Glazer said the consulting strategy, and that's why this time we did bring in somebody, Coach Bruce Arians, who's been involved in many other teams with success, and I think it's beneficial. It gives a different perspective on things. We thought it would be helpful. So it's interesting that they use a consultancy firm. Interesting that obviously Rangnick's going to move into a consultancy role on July 1st. Could they be already using Ralph's consultancy as a form of improving United and getting that permanent manager in? Yes, I think they probably are. Do I even think Ralph wants a permanent job anymore? He's probably thinking, fuck this. Far too much work needs to be done. We'll go get someone young. We'll go get someone. I'll just sit back for 2 years and help upstairs, which I think is probably Ralph's better role. I think he's coming to terms with also how difficult the Premier League is and how brutal, I think, is probably the best way to put it. So, there is that. And just to quickly touch on Potter, he's actually said, Graham Potter on whether flattering to be linked with other clubs. He says, reality is I am at a really good club that can help me, that allow me to do my job, give me trust. These things are important. You can't help what people put out about it. He's very happy at Brighton. I think he'll stay at Brighton for the rest of the season. I can't see him going elsewhere. Then he'll assess his situation in the summer, just like I think a lot of other managers. Pochettino, Ten Hag, Potter, Southgate. Well, Southgate will probably be looking at the World Cup by then, you'd assume. But certainly, I think Potter will look for the summer. And then I think United are assessing their managerial situation. I think Everton maybe, unless they get a permanent appointment now. Maybe Man City will if Pep leaves. We don't know. We simply do not know. But what we do know is this summer it's going to be very interesting, and you can get all the news updates on Let's Talk Premier League. But guys, that was a long one of just pure talking. There was so much to get through in terms of United and the whole shit show that is going their way in the summer, and them looking to get a head start already, which could be vital to United being successful next season, especially with all of the changes. I'll be back at 9 p.m. with a few others with the weekly review show, so make sure you tune in for that. It should be an exciting one. I am very excited about it. And then tomorrow, obviously, we'll have another set of Niall's thoughts, and we'll have probably a watch along, but I haven't really worked that a bit out yet. And of course, another one of these shows at 5. So make sure you check out that. But before you do go, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as always. And also make sure you check out Kian's channel, Football Obsession, in 11 minutes time, because he'll be going live with Phil Brown. I'll be watching as well, so I'll be in the comments as well. So make sure you check out Kian, who's appeared on the United show 5 times, I think now. Or something like that. He's been absolutely brilliant on it. So make sure you check out Kian's show with Phil Brown. And make sure you subscribe to Kian as well. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a bit. Peace out.